Hi, and welcome to Vibin With, brought to you by Puzzle of Color.
Today we're vibing with Ija Charles, a self-taught painter entrepreneur from Columbus, South Carolina. Her series range from portraits of ordinary people to diverse samplings of symbols from our day-to-day culture. These images are then reimagined and reconstructed in her own unique way.
Welcome back, Ija. It is so wonderful to have you as our first repeat artist on Vibing With and with a puzzle. How have you been since we last spoke?
I have been amazing. Your puzzle has gotten me a lot of work, so I'm super excited.
Really?
That's nice to hear that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. You have to tell us more about that.
Well, I'll say the most recent thing that's happened is someone saw the first round of puzzles with Black Boy Joy, and now it's going to be featured on a new show that's coming out on Hulu.
What?
And you remember the lady who got married on Bridesmaids, the movie?
Oh yeah.
She's going to be the main character in the show, so I'm super excited.
Dude, that's crazy.
The painting that
Wow.
they put it on Apple Music for a campaign ad.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Congratulations. That is huge. I was just gonna say, we were just at an event this past weekend and like a lady walked by and she was like, oh, I definitely want to buy a puzzle from you guys because I keep seeing Black Boy Joy. She keeps seeing like on her like just Google like rant like all the time, and I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, I hadn't actually searched us in a while. Like, let's see what comes up. And like we searched like Black Boy Joy, and a puzzles first thing comes up, and then we searched like I think just Puzzle Color, and like you're on our business card. That particular puzzle's on our business card, so like it's a pretty commonly rotated image. So yeah, it's a big hit.
Thank you. I'm happy it is.
So when you last talked, you just had moved to a new home. So has that happened?
I have my house. I'm actually working on getting a traveling van so I can start going to more festivals now, since I've already solidified that. So I'm super excited about it. But yes, I have my home. Now I'm just trying to figure out how to decorate it now.
That's amazing.
That's supposed to be a lot of art.
Yeah, you said you were gonna do like a big mural in your rooms. You already get to start working on that?
I did. I'm actually making my room into an immersion room, and then I'm going to turn my studio into like an immersive sketch pad. So when you walk in, it's going to feel like you're inside of a sketchbook. So it's going to be super cool.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see that.
As I work, I'm actually going to be posting all this on my Instagram, because a lot of people have been saying that this is so cool. I can't keep it to myself. I'm excited.
Yeah, that definitely sounds super tight.
You need to be on like, MTV Cribs is back. I'm like, that's a crib I want to see.
Right. Or like Tiana Taylor's house, where it's like all sketchbook, like a cartoon. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have. I thought that was so cool.
So I know when we spoke last time, your mom stole your puzzle. Did she put it together?
She did, and she has both of them now. Like, I don't get to keep anything, and she just has her office, so everybody who comes over to her house can see them.
That's amazing. Did she frame them, or she just put them together and has them glued up, or?
She kept them apart because I have a lot of cousins who want to do it, and a lot of my cousins ate to it because they look like the little kids. I actually had an arts walk recently, and I put a QR code out so people could buy the puzzles, and we had the puzzles on display, and a little boy came and said, I started following you through my mom because this little boy looks just like me. He had his fro out. He had a flower. He was like, see? And I was like, oh my God. So that was it's very, very cool to see stuff like that happen. And that's why she kept it from going away. Like, she kept it together, but she just put the print that comes on the front cover, and that's what she has hanging. And she just lets us play with the puzzles when we have barbecues.
Oh, that's amazing.
So kind of like catching up still, kind of recapping what we did last Vibin With. So we talked about your time in Louisiana. You kind of like were doing, I think you said parade floats or decorating cakes and stuff like that. Can you go more into detail about what you were doing out there? I mean, that sounds really cool. I don't know how long you were there, but
I was there for 3 years after I graduated high school. That's where I got my footing. I went to Essence Festival. I was the youngest ever selling my artwork. And then I out and decided to do parade floats and start selling at festivals, doing face paint at Mardi Gras parades, anything that I could get my hands on. And I worked at a bakery because being down there, still trying to figure it out as a growing upcoming artist, I still needed a job. So I did cake decorating as a side hustle to help me stay in the arts, but also make money. So that was a really cool experience in itself as well, because I always loved to cook. So it was like combining two of my favorite things while I got myself together. So yeah.
Nice. So do you know how to make a king cake?
Yeah.
That's so funny. We had a king cake at my wedding because my husband is from Louisiana. He's from Leesville, Louisiana. So that was his groom's cake. Yeah. I'm like, we have to talk to you about Essence Fest because we're trying to hopefully that'd be great to be able to participate in that in the future. So we'll have to get some tips from you.
Super, super, super dope. It was a culture shock for me because I live in a very diverse community. So to have so many people like us just in one room, all doing amazing things, making money, buying from each other, and like even my mom was starstruck. She's like, wow, I never thought that we all could exist in one space like this. Like, it was just so cool. It's something that you unconsciously you're not aware of until you participate. So I definitely recommend y'all go.
I feel that because we went to a couple of all Black events where we got to like sell puzzles and sell our work, and they sell our work. It's the same feeling, like all these Black people doing such amazing little jobs or selling like
creative ideas,
jewelries, or of course all the artists. There were all the great artists there. It was pretty cool. It was real cool. Yeah. So what is like? I know we've kind of your nature. It was a part of your nature series, so. Is like a particular meaning behind the puzzle itself and behind Sisters?
That one is based off of me and my family. Every time we travel, I moved away. We always would come back at my grandma's house. My grandma lives in the country of Paxville. If you blink, it's 2 gas stations and a Dollar Tree, so you're gonna miss it. Every time we got together, we would take our shoes off, run in the woods, and just hang out in the sunflower patch or the cornfields and just embrace each other, because it just is a way for you to escape, even if you have to work all the time. We're adults now, so when we get together, it feels like we're kids again. So I just wanted to relive that, because those 3 girls are me, my sister, and my cousin. We grew up together like sisters. So every time we got together in the South, that was just a big hug of embracing sisters. This is have fun. We don't care what's going on right now. We're just gonna enjoy the countryside.
Oh, I love that.
Real beautiful, man. You always have like great explanations for your pieces. I love that too.
Yeah, I always tell people I don't want my art to just be pretty. I feel like they have a story. And for me, as art was something that helped me get out of a hole when I was a kid, all my artwork has something to do with the emotion that I had at that time when I created. So I always will know what they mean.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I noticed there's like a trend here. I mean, as far as like, nature is the impetus behind all of those things. I mean, I guess that I'm assuming that kind of comes back from you saying that you used to paint with the berries and stuff like that. Yeah. So nature's a huge impact on you, on your artistic journey. Do you have like a lot of plants in your house? Like, is that something that you've kind of kept throughout your life?
I would, but I know my future goal is to own my own land and just do a botanical garden and just eat off the land. That's what my ancestors did. My great grandfather owned most of Paxville. So my grandmother and them, she was named Grandma Sweetheart because she'd be in the house baking and making sure the kids, all the grandkids had snacks and stuff. But the food that she cooked from was what my grandpa grew outside. So I want to go back to that. And people call me Mother Nature and Nature Child since I was a kid, because that's just what I was immersed into. And having a lack of resources when it came to art, I always went out in nature first to figure out what I was going to create. I used to dig under trees to make sculptures, teapots for kids, just anything I could figure out. So I just want to bring that back into my art as much as I can, because it's what got me started.
So you actually, and you're a vegetarian too, is that correct? Or vegan?
I am.
So then you really can live off of what you grow.
How long have you been vegetarian, or is it vegan, or which one?
I'm vegan. I've been vegan for about 4 years. Vegetarian since I was 12, because I almost had cancer. And they said, I just need to cut a lot of things out of my diet because I had celiac and something else that I don't know the name of. But I basically became an old lady at 12, watching my sugar intake, watching my oil intake. And I just cut meat off completely because it always got me sick. So ever since I've been plant-based, I haven't been sick. I don't get colds. And for me in my lifestyle, doing meals and things, that helps with making sure that I'm not unavailable. So that's something I do enjoy.
So kind of, you mentioned murals. I mean, do you have any, like, how do you tackle such a huge canvas? I know you mentioned in the last one that you like love the bigger the canvas, the better, but how do you scale that way?
That's like my most asked question. And I'll just say this, most of my projects, I just get out there and do it. Because one thing that my parents had always taught me was, you can't cuss in the house. We weren't allowed to say I can't. If we said I can't, we in either a fussing or they gonna tell us don't say that. Because when people will ask me to do these projects, it would literally be my first time. And I just look up how to do it and just just figure it out as I go. I'm the number one person to figure it out, because most of the things that I do is repetitive. It's just on larger scales. And with my love of heights and my grandfather being a construction worker, it's easier for me to work with appliances, and I don't really mind being up in the air. So it's really fun to just tackle things like that.
Like, what is the path on that? Like, do you draw it smaller and like get approval on that and then scale it, or like what's the method or the steps?
That's much it. When I get clients, they'll tell me what they're looking for, ask them for a dimension so we can get pricing and everything figured out. And then once that happens, I ask them what their vision is. If they already know what they want, that's easier. But then I'll ask for a little time to come up with a sketch. I actually sketch it directly onto the building using my iPad. And I just mark the indentations of the building and then go out and just draw it up. So that's usually how I do it.
Wow, technology. That's amazing.
Is it spray paint or paintbrush and ink, or like is it kind of the variation?
It's a variation of anything I can throw on the wall that'll stay. But it's mainly UV resistant paint that'll last, because all the paints I use has warranty for over 100 years. And then spray paints that usually would use for like long-term things, like the signs they put on the floor for the roads and stuff. I use that type of stuff because I want it to last. It just takes a little longer, but it's worth it.
Oh, you also, you have the painting you have behind you, you work with a lot of different materials. I've seen you doing like the glass and all kinds of stuff. Like, how do you come up with these different materials, and like, what's your favorite, I guess?
I say the way I come up with it is just how I was when I was a kid, and a little bit with just how my brain works. I get bored and sometimes I get stressed out because I have a lot of clients I deal with at once. So when I go in my house, if I don't have necessarily the money or the time to get supplies, I'll just see what I have and use whatever I have in the house to create. So the painting behind me was broken glass from an old stained glass project I had done years ago. So I was like, I'm just going to use what I have and make this. And that's why I ended up with her.
Oh, wow.
That is super cool. I love that.
And she's literally just made of glass.
So you actually paint every different color palette or piece of glass?
The glass came as it was. I had to figure out.
So you just rearranged it. Wow.
I had to figure out how to do that.
Wow.
The colors that I had.
Amazing.
That
so like
even cooler.
how long have you been doing with murals? Like, when did you first start doing those? And like how long have you been doing all these different types of things?
I just started murals 2 years ago, and as of today I have 20.
Wow.
And that's just
amazing.
I'm going to New York at the end of this month to do 6 murals at this lady's walk bar downtown by the Central Park. So that'll be posted too. But that's just been cool to be able to do so many in such a short amount of time. And I know it's just going to keep going, but that just happened because so many people saw my work and how vibrant the colors were, how positive the message was. And they're basically saying that we're going back into a renaissance of just showing Black joy, not oppression. So for me to be able to put that on such a large scale to where kids can say, wow, that's me, that looks like me, and be inspired, especially in this city, it makes me want to just continue to keep creating. So I have plenty more coming.
That's awesome. We cannot wait to follow your journey and see all those.
Yeah, you're doing so much amazing stuff. I mean, how do you even like, so do they usually have the idea for you, or they like give you free range to like come up with an idea for your bureau? How does all that work?
Most times they let me do it because they just want my style. It's always easier when they already know what they want. They're just like, hey, can you just do this? And I just get it done. It makes the process quicker, but usually they would just want me to come up with a design.
Gotcha. Do you have a preference? What you prefer then?
Not necessarily. I just always tell my clients, the better the story, the more inspired I'll be.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how we do it with our commissions. Like when we do commissions for like our Christmas pieces and things like that, we definitely like to like give the artists some free range. We tell them a story that we have. Like even for the first Christmas puzzle we did, which was Comfort and Joy. For that one, we allowed them to like, we told them what we wanted in it and like the story we're telling, and he created something that was just amazing, and we love that piece. So yeah, I love like the artists to really like do their thing.
Mm-hmm. Where are most people finding you? Is it through social media or word of mouth?
Word of mouth, definitely for local. But as far as like overall, Instagram has been the number one place. TikTok too, but I'm not on TikTok. I just upload and click out. So it's it's the same name. So they just hop off of one and go to the other.
And so I know you said like you went straight to doors right after college or high school. So you didn't go to college, is what I was assuming, right? Or
no, I actually placed third in nation for my art business plan. So I used that money to go to Louisiana and start trying to figure out how I was gonna make this art thing work. And that's on ever since.
Do you ever feel like you like missed out on anything, like not going to school or like... All right, cool.
About that is I was supposed to go to SCAD in Savannah, Georgia. It's like the hardest school to get into, and I got in under 24 hours. And when I went for SCAD day, thank you, that's what I said. They called me and everything, but I went there for SCAD day and I met one of my professors. He was an abstract artist. And he said, Ija, my class is about abstract. I don't like other types of art, but I love what you're doing. And even though if you decide to not come here, because they only could pay half my tuition, but it was a $200,000 school. So that's nothing. Yeah. He told me that even if you come here, when you graduate, it's still up to you to do something with your degree or whatever you want to do. You're already doing it. You've been selling since middle school. Go figure it out.
Well, I appreciate them telling you that, because I think that's something that's underrated is like saying that knowing the work you have to do after, like even if you go to art school, you get all this training, you still have to do like your own.
You still have to figure out how to
figure out the business,
how to sell.
You still have to figure out the business side of actually running and being an artist full time. It's not as simple as getting a degree and like, all right, well, people appreciate my art now because it's good. You have to you have to figure out the business side of that. It's just not the same as just going to school.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you said crazy. That you did like a business, you won like a business grant or presentation or something?
I was a part of a club in high school, and I said my business plan, it was 32 pages long, and I was the only person ever to have done an art business plan. So it was already intriguing. So when I went to district, they were like, this is amazing. So they sent me to nationals in Chicago, but I didn't know I was going to place. The judges that I placed with, they actually found me at lunchtime and said, Ija, we can't forget about you. Like, here's our card. We want some artwork. And just let you know before they make the announcements, you won. So
that is amazing. What was the competition? What was the name of the competition? If anybody wants to try out.
I don't know if it's still available, but it was business leaders. It was something business leaders. It's been a while, but it's something business.
Okay. That's an amazing thing to an amazing resource that you are able to take advantage of.
Exactly. Really, I feel like that's one thing that I do like to reiterate when I speak with schools and assemblies and all that. Teachers really have to be engaged with their students. I was lucky that my teachers were there for me, because there were times when I was in middle school where I wouldn't even do my work. I would just draw on the test. and I could have got an F, but they were buying my test, telling me that they wanted to invest in me. So
wow.
Huge. That was a huge thing. That's why I ended up moving back to South Carolina, because I just wanted to show that you can make it anywhere that you are. Because I know here, a lot of people say you have to leave, get out of here. There's nothing here for you. But who's going to build up the next generation that is here coming up? You might want to travel and do all that, but I just want to be here to show kids that you can do whatever you want in this world. I'm from here. I was born and raised. My community built me. So I'm going to come back and make sure y'all built up too. So it's really fun. And I'm happy to be able to do that. Because even when I did the Black Wall Street mural that you've all seen, kids coming out there, that's like a 600-foot mural. And I was on a scaffolding all the way up in the sky. And kids would be like, "You're a superhero." And come with their sketch pads, showing me their art. And I'm telling them they're better than me, because I know that they are the next generation, and they're looking at me like I'm a superhero, and I'm telling them they're better than me. You just never know what that'll spark when they get older. So it's just that type of joy you can't get. So it's just really nice to be able to do that for those that have helped me become who I am.
I love that they saw so much in you, and your work speaks for itself. You got that in you. You're doing amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know the series is called Vibin With, so we got to know, like, what you've been vibing with lately. I know we talked about it last time with a lot of the Dre's but yeah, what's you been listening to lately?
I had to bump Tyler the Creator since he dropped his album.
When you're up in those huge murals, are you listening to music, or are you just like focusing in on the art?
I do a little bit of both. Sometimes, like if I'm super high, I want to make sure that I'm aware of what's going on around me. So I don't
100%.
I'm lower to the ground. Yes, I'm just bopping anything that comes on my phone. I really like underground music, so it's always something.
So what music would you say inspired, or like, you would play for sisters? Like when you think about the people that are in the picture, your family, what kind of music y'all listen to when you're all together?
Oh, we listen to, what is my dad? Like, he plays Outkast to the cows come home. So we definitely Outkast. We also listen to Prince. We listen to Michael Jackson. Any old school music you could think of. But I know my number one, which I would put with that, which is he's one of my favorite artists, is Al Green. Because you need to call me, we need to hang out, we need to go somewhere. So I really, really love Al Green music, and I would put that for that piece. Any of his songs.
Awesome. Well, we can definitely make a playlist off of that. I mean, those are some greats.
Yeah, for real.
Well, I am really super excited. I mean, you talked about, your inspiration, inspiring the kids that are watching you up there painting. I'm really super excited that we have the bundle coming that has Black Boy Joy and Sisters. So, the kids can really, the younger kids can enjoy one with a little bit smaller piece count. It's going to be 180 pieces. So still, something that they can do together, if it's siblings or doing with their parents, something like that. But still, but a lot more accessible to those younger kids that see themselves in the piece. So that's really, really exciting. And I'm sure that you'll be getting even more people posting and even more feedback once you get to see little kids, with those puzzles. Well, thank you so much for allowing us to work with you. I mean, we've worked with many, many amazing, talented artists, and you are one of them. And so excited to be a part of, be in business with you, and that you've gotten, a lot of great feedback and other, opportunities from having been with us. So thank you.
I'd love to hear that though, because the word we
want to promote and
you guys as well, for sure. Because you're, like I say, without y'all's work, we wouldn't be here. So thank you for your amazing work and allowing us to use it and to, spread your amazing messages.
Hey, and thank you all. Y'all are amazing. And I told my mom this yesterday, but y'all are the best company I've worked with. So I just thank y'all.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
I just love the way y'all work. Yes.
Well, hopefully more and more to come. We'll be in for years and years. Do you have anything huge coming out? Like any new pieces that you're about to drop for us?
Starting my new series. Y'all might get inspired by some new artwork. I am taking hiatus after my large project I have at the end of this month. And I'll just be posting new art pieces. So y'all be able to see my work, not work for other people. So I'm super excited about that. So be on the lookout.
That sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time in the afternoon.
Absolutely. And thank you all.
Thank you for joining us for an episode of Vibin With. Be sure to purchase a puzzle by this talented artist at puzzlesofcolor.com. You can also listen to a curated playlist of music to pair with this artist's puzzle on Spotify. Just search for Puzzles of Color.